Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard. I live in Chancellor Park. I mow lawns, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. I sure am glad to join me here on this podcast. I want to let you know what's going on in my neck of the woods. Now, I started out years ago on the YouTubes and then the TikToks and the Instagrams now and the whatnots. I got the websites, the tavindillard.com, but right now, I want to clue you into what's happening in my neck of the woods on the Tavin Dillard podcast. You here? I'm here. I'm glad you joined me. Now I'm going to send it over to myself. This is like the pre-introduction, but let's get on to the real show today. I'm glad you joined me here. Bank, bank. Hey, y'all guys. Welcome to the Tavin Dillard podcast. It's season 9's episode 7. I'm glad you joined me today. I really am. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on. I don't know if you're walking, you riding a bike, you driving a car, you running, you walking in a grocery store pushing a shopping cart. I don't know if you walking your kiddo to the old t-ball practice and then you realize, I can't walk this kiddo. They done took off to the wrong field. I'm going to have to pick up my pace and run a little bit. I don't know. I don't know where you at. But I sure am glad you joining me because what I'm saying is you busy. You got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. And we all doing a little chin up right now, a little peekaboo over the horizon. Oh, what's that out there? It's the merry month of March. I mean, just right around the corner, y'all guys. February's been great. We still into February's. If you listen to this on the day it come out, then you know it's February 27th. And we get an extra day in February this year. So that's a hoot of a time. And March the 1st, the town shirt is going to launch. What's the town shirt? Well, it's got the map of my town on it. Folks been saying, well, where's Early Bird gets the perm in the relationship to maybe the city poo or the burger shed or the softball fields or Thunder Punch, all that kind of stuff. So I drawed it out and I have put it to a vote, and most people said, hey, I want the blue shirt. But then, like I said last week on the podcast, enough people want the beige shirt, so we got blue and beige options. The blue shirt's got the white ink on it, the white picture, and then the beige shirt's got it in black. And so whatever you kind of prefer. Like I said, I know that beige, you know, if you like me and you spill a lot of bacon double cheeseburger juice on your shirts, maybe you want a darker shirt to hide that. I don't know. But March 1st at launch, if you're one of the first 100 orders, you're getting a town map sticker with it. And it, you know how sticker work, you peel off a back like this away and then you stick it to something. But the thing about it is if you don't want to do that, you leave the back on it and then you can thumbtack it to a wall or put it on your refrigerator with a magnet. I mean, you got options. If you're the first 100 orders, you're going to get that automatically in the package with your shirt that you order. So that's a hoot of a time. I mean, we're looking forward to that. There's a lot going on. That's a big thing this week, you know, heading into March is all I'm saying. But there's a lot going on in the show notes today, and I'm going to get to that. But first, I just want to say, hey, I mention every week, hey, shoot me an email. You know, send me a text message. Let me know how you're doing. Well, you know, folks do that. But it's not every week I get to like around to, you know, mentioning all that. I just start telling you what's been happening. But Corey F., he texted me and he said, Tavin, my wife has been listening to the podcast for years and has gotten me hooked, ! Now we share all kind of inside jokes and other Tavin-y things. Love what you do. Keep it up. Thanks, Corey F. And you got a good wife. I'll tell you that right now, buddy. I'm glad y'all are listening together. Now, I don't know what kind of Tavin-y things that y'all like to talk about and do. I don't know if you bike ramping now or you taking your Memaw to Early Bird Gets the Perm in her 91 Buick Regal, but I sure appreciate y'all listening. I sure appreciate the text. Corey, thank you. Now, Gloria Slater, she shot me an email and she said she read a tidbit today and the only person she could think of sharing it that might possibly find it interesting was me. Well, I'll tell you, Gloria, I found it interesting. And now it's going to get shared with the podcast audience. And y'all let me know how interesting you find this. But it's a little donut history. You know about that? And she also says that she thoroughly enjoying and chortling at my content. I mean, if I can get a chortle out of somebody, Gloria, that's high praise. So I appreciate you. Okay. Here's the quote. You know, like a quotation mark? It's like kitty cat claw in the air, like, and it's the start. You put it at the start, and you put it at the end when you quoting somebody else. So it's like out of way. It says, American author Washington Irving, in his 1809, another quote, A History of New York from the beginning of the world to the end of the Dutch dynasty, immortalized the donut as balls of sweetened dough fried in hog's fat and called donuts or oliko kayaks. I don't know if that's how they said that word, but if you like me, you know donuts is easier to say than that other one. A delicious kind of cake at present scarce known in this city, except in genuine Dutch families. And then the kitty cat claw quote ends, and then it says, historians agree that Urban's record is the first time that the Dutch treat was referred to as a donut in writing. So hey, now Gloria know that, now I know that, now all y'all know that. 1809, I mean, folks might have been saying donut before, but the first time it got wrote out, and it got wrote out on paper where you can read the word, there we go, Washington Irving, 1809. Now we all know. And Drew, he shot me an email. He goes, I just delivered my neighbor his second bag of Tavin's bacon. He's legit hooked on it now. Anyway, he said he's going to go to some pro polo match tournament thingy this weekend. He said he's going to bring that bag with him. Well, I don't know about no polo tournament, Drew, but I'm pretty sure that's a high dollar sport. And all that to say, Tavin's bacon bag can go anywhere. It can go to them fancy places. It can be on a 12-foot aluminum bass boat, you know, and you out there munching on that while you fishing. There's all kind of places it can be. And you'll see a link in the show notes for the bacon bag today. But folks been saying, Tavin, you like them bacon double cheeseburgers, you like them donuts, all that. But, I mean, you got to eat healthier. Well, I eat, and that's healthy. But I will tell you, I got some friends, Magic Mind, and they got a little drink. It's green. So, basically, I mean, you drink a little salad there. What it do, like if you drink coffee and you find like, I can't drink coffee all day, or it gives me jittery, it don't help me focus, do the Magic Mind. That's what I'm saying. They sent me bottles of it, and I drank it. And the thing is, what it can do is help you focus during the day. So try it and see what you think about it. You'll see that. That'll be the top one in the show notes today, though. A little link to the Magic Mind. If you're looking for something like that that's good for you and can help you, check them out for all that. So there's a lot to check out in the show notes today. But boy, I got some news, and this is basically, I mean, what I got to talk about today is one big, well, is one thing. I thought I was going to tell you that my brother Bret got a job, and I'll get into that in a second. But then my Memaw got robbed. So I got to let y'all know about that. I mean, that's sad news. Now, did I think that those two things would be connected? Well, let me just get into it. So my brother Bret got a job. Big deal? Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Now, that don't mean he ain't had jobs before in his life, but it does mean that there's a lot of times he say, oh, I got this job, and nobody in the world, when it was coming out of his mouth, were like, you ain't got that job. There ain't no way you got that job. And then some of the jobs were like, well, maybe he got that job. I don't know. But you can be the judge. I'm going to give you a list, just a little sampling of jobs my brother Bret has said, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing for a living now. Ready? Number one, cheese dip maker at Casa Bonita in Little Rock. Well, that restaurant had some good cheese dip back in the day. And to say that you was the one making it, that's actually a pretty bold statement. Now you think, hey, anybody, you know, your average person can get hired at a restaurant. Well, I guess so. But to be the cheese dip maker, anyhow. Number two, place kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He said that before. Number three, governor of athletics for the SEC. You see where this is going, y'all guys? It's like, come on, Bret. Number four, pro wrestler. I mean, he can got some moves on the gravel in Chancellor Park, but that's a little bit of a stretch from getting paid professionally to do it. Number five, banana split consultant at Sonic. I don't think they have that job. I don't even think that job exists. He's like, oh yeah, I got to check out, you know, make sure the ice cream's firm and the nanners ain't brown or especially black. They end up at Imogene Watkins' house if they are. You know, he's saying all this stuff about banana split consultant. Come on. And then number six, repairman for NASA. So that's just a little taste, give you an idea of what I got to deal with when it comes to my brother Bret. And he got an answer for everything. Like I'll say, hey, Bret, if you're a repairman for NASA, then why wouldn't I know about it? And he said, well, because it's top secret, Tabin. Then I said, well, then why are you telling me, Bret? He said, because I got clearance. And I say, clearance for what? And he says, clearance for blast off. And I say, what does that even mean, Bret? Come on, and round we go. That's what it's like to have a conversation with my brother Bret, in case you was wondering. Well, he got a job at Fishing Clips. At least he told me he did. I was a little suspect, so I went and talked to my buddy Rance about it. I found it highly doubtful. I mean, he'd been caught on camera out there before just being up to no good, like sneaking around there, and Donnie Wayne's repair shed, which is 100 yards from there. And Donnie Wayne work on motors and different kind of vehicles, you know, two-stroke engines, that kind of thing. It's like, well, Bret may be trying to steal something to sell it, and I don't know, you know, maybe he won a boat. And so I'm just like, you sure you got a job out there, Bret? I mean, I'd be happy if you did, but I just, you know, you heard the list of things he's done before. So I'm thinking, well, Rance, I wouldn't trust him, but what do I know? So I talked to Rance out there, and, you know, he runs the place. He give good haircuts out at Fishing Clips on the patio, and good food, too. And he said, yeah. He goes, I hired Bret. And what do you know? Good on you, I guess. What'd you hire him to do, Rance? And Rance told me, you know, Myron Curtis's paddle boat idea, it might really take off this spring. Myron's got that idea. If you listen to last week's episode, you know that he got this idea that, you know, I am very cautious about Myron Curtis's ideas, but, you know, it's moving along where I'm like, this might be something if you can pull it together, because the thing about it is, people would do a paddle boat on a lake, you know, if you got it all set up and you got them out there and you got boats that floated and all that kind of thing. So anyhow, Rance said, if this is going to happen, and it looked like it might, they need to dig some of the bank out and build a dock for them paddle boats. And I said, Bret is going to help you build a dock for paddle boats? He goes, yeah, he just has to use a shovel, Tab, and when it comes to building a dock, he'll be an extra set of hands, you know, to help carry lumber over, or whatever they need him to do. Like, you know, he do what they say. They point and say, Bret, get that, and he you know, grab a two or whatever he need to do. Okay, so I was about to say, you don't want him to be the mastermind behind planning a dock build, but Rance seemed to know that. Well, I'm all for it. Like I said, if my brother Bret wants to step up and be responsible, I just keep my head on a swivel, though, because I could change at any moment. It's like opening a bag of Funyuns and trying to do a cartwheel in the trailer park. Next thing you know, crows swoop down, they take it. If you don't have your head on a swivel and you thought you knew how your day was going to go, buddy, it changed. Now there's a crow party back at their headquarters, and you got a cartwheel under your belt, but you lost your Funyuns. I'm just saying, you give my brother Bret a shovel and expect him to dig, you better keep an eye on him, because I don't know what's going to happen to that shovel or where he going to go with it. Now, when I saw my brother Bret breaking a piece of plywood behind donut goes this week and asked him about this new job, he didn't explain it to me quite the way Rance did. Well, Tab, and I'm senior foreman on a lake remodel and chief consultant on a new paddle boat business. I'm thinking in my head, I'm pretty sure you're moving dirt with a shovel, Bret. And it's a good thing, you know, that he got a job, but don't say you a senior foreman. That's all I'm thinking in my head. Come on, Bret. But it don't do no good, you know, it don't do any good to tell Bret that he's lying, so I wasn't going to get into it. He already knows he's lying. I already know he's lying, so I just say, that's great, buddy, about that job. You should be able to pay me that money you owe me. He goes, well, Tab, a lot of that pay's deferred because it's a government contract. Come on, Bret. Rance is paying you out of the tip jar at Fishing Clips. You know that. So anyhow, Bret's making a little money. That's the truth. Like, I checked it out, fact-checked it. But is he all, you know, high up and fancy with deferred pay that's going to help him build a monster truck? Is that the kind of money he's making? No way. Did I mention that he wants to build a monster truck? Anyway, I just keep letting him break that piece of plywood, and I went on my way, you know, because it ain't something I got to get into. I can be frustrated and annoyed, but at the end of the day, if Rance agreed to hire him and he agreed to work and he going to do that job, then go do that job, Bret. Good on you. But you ain't no senior consultant, I can tell you that right now. So I'm thinking things is going okay. You know, that ain't terrible. Imagine my surprise when I get back to my trailer park and Memaw was all up in arms because she been robbed. She been robbed. I don't know of what yet because I just getting there. And I drove to ATB this week. I wasn't on my bike. I mean, she on the front porch, winter moo-moo on, hair all a mess, arms above her head, and a cookie jar lid in one hand. So I park my ATV right there. I cut off that motor. What's going on, Memaw? She said, it's gone. I said, what's gone? She said, them iced oatmeals. I was like, cookies? She goes, the iced oatmeals is all gone. Well, I'm thinking, I don't steal cookies. And if I did, it wouldn't be iced oatmeal. I mean, I'll put them on a plate at a party and take a bite, but if there's trays of cookies, it don't take long for some shinier shoes to come along and that iced oatmeal just gets dumped. Now, this is where I think that magic mind, I was telling you about that earlier, that drink could help focus, a little bit of boost in the middle of the day, because this has got to get figured out. And I need to steady focus like that away. Memaw's all flustered. She been robbed. That's her favorite cookie jar. And I didn't know if it got stole or what happened. I do know that there's some iced oatmeal cookies that got stole. I need to be smart, steady focus. Magic mind might be the answer at this point. So I step onto Memaw's porch, and I take that porcelain cookie jar from her hand, or at least the lid, that's all she's holding, and before she break it, and we turn into that trailer, which was, as they say on them crime shows, the scene of the crime. Y'all see where this is going? Because I ain't no Hardy Boys, Columbo, or Sherlock Holmes, but I think I know who could have gotten to Memaw's trailer. So she takes me over to the hummingbird cookie jar, and I look inside, and it's empty. I mean, that's for sure. Like, again, it don't take a lot to look in there and say, yeah, there ain't nothing in there. I mean, there's some crumbs. That's when she said, the money was under the cookies. Oh, I see. This just ain't about them iced oatmeals. Memaw got robbed of money, too. So now this robbery is going to the next level. So it's one thing to lose some iced oatmeals. The whole reason iced oatmeals end up in the cookie jars because nobody's reaching their hand in there to eat them. That's best I can tell. I guess they was still good. They wasn't stale. I don't know. That usually they do a little snap to them if they fresher, and then they just kind of bend, if they ain't. So I don't know, because they's gone anyway at this point. How much money got took? She don't know. But it was a handful, she said. Told me it's a handful. So that puts it somewhere between $30 and $100, I guess. I don't think Memaw keeps more than $100 in a cookie jar, but she said maybe she would. So we really don't know. And there's not a lot to go on. I asked if she had any leads, and she said Bret. About the same time I was thinking Bret, because he stole from all of us before in the family. And apparently he needed money because he went and tried to get a job, And I mean, who don't need money? But, I'm thinking we might have put 3 and 2 together here. And if there has been a culprit before, then that's where you look. That's true for any crime. If somebody did that thing before, you go back to them, like Kevin Rickert. If he finds teeth in the freezer section of the grocery store, he probably going to go to Delma Spencer first, and she'd have her kids leave their teeth there for the tooth fairy. You know about that? You may not know about that about Delma, but it's the truth. And from what I know, once he bought her off with a couple cartons of ice cream, she didn't do it again. It ain't been done, so I don't know that she won't pick something else up, because anytime you're rewarding somebody with free ice cream for doing something nasty like dropping little bloody stubby teeth in the freezer section, they might do it again. But so far, so good. So you get the idea. All signs here are pointing to Bret. I can't just walk up to him now and confront him, because that's the story of his life. He gets accused, he denies it, then he disappears for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, oh, they're going to forget about it. We don't. At the same time, I can't keep Memaw just waiting. I can't keep her just wondering what's going to happen next. So I borrow her 91 Buick Regal, and I head out to Fishing Clips to try and get to the bottom of all this. Because I know Bret's out there, and if he got money, it don't last long. He's like a possum too, though. You don't want to spook him. He gets cornered, and he'll start hissing, and he'll attack you. Thing about it is, if Bret has a pocket full of Memaw's cookie jar money, it's going to get spent. I mean, it's going to get spent. He can't keep it long. He just can't. He don't know how to. So here I am back at Fishing Clips, and I asked Rance, hey, Rance, has Bret bought anything today? Like from the bait and tackle shop in there, they got a little gift store in there. So that's about all he could do if his whole day started here. Like, if money going to get spent, it's going to be right here at Fishing Clips. And so I'm just asking Rance, can you give me anything? He goes, well, I gave him lunch since he's going to help with the dirt moving in the dock, so he didn't have to buy no lunch. That's part of, our deal that we worked out. I was like, well, that's nice of you. Did he buy anything else, though? He goes, yeah, he picked up like a sweatshirt, a floating keychain, and some hot fries in the shop. I was like, well, where'd he get that money? Have you paid him already? Did you, is he paying it with money you gave him? He goes, no, I ain't paid him yet. And I was like, well, I can't figure out where he got that money. And Rance, my Memaw, got robbed today. And Branson said, well, I see. Well, I see where this is going. That makes sense. So let me just go ask him. That's what Rance said to me. Let me just go ask him. Well, I just told y'all guys that wasn't how I was going to approach this. And as I'm about to tell him, that ain't a good idea, Rance, he walks toward the water where Bret looks like he's trying to drag a bike wheel out of the lake. And Rance just hollers, where'd you get that money for that sweatshirt and them hot fries, Bret? And Bret turns, and the keychain? Yeah, all of that. You know, the keychain too. You know, come on, Bret. My Memaw loaned me the money, he said. Told Rance that his Memaw, which is my Memaw too, loaned him the money. Well, I know better than that. And so Rance says, well, does she know that she loaned you the money? About that time, I walk down. Bret sees me, and he rolls his eyes. Oh, come on. Is this what this is all about? And I said, Memaw didn't know she loaned you any money, Bret. That's called stealing. Well, I'm good for it. I got this contract from Rance. Then Rance is shaking his head. Now Rance is hearing it. And he goes, come on, Bret, it ain't like that. How much money did you take? And Bret just shrugged his shoulders. He's holding a muddy bike wheel, just shrugging his shoulders on the bank of the river like, I don't know. Well, I said, well, how much you got in your pocket? You know, we can do the math because Rance knows what he ranged him up for inside the store. And Bret sighs, you know, he just flustered at this point. He goes, y'all beat all I ever seen. And he reaches a muddy hand in his dirty jeans and he pulls out several kind of, you know, bills. Rance walks over there and looks over the bills. He has about $37. And once Rance did the math on whatever Bret had bought, it was like $60. I guess that sweatshirt's a little more pricey than I thought. So there you go. Like mystery solved at this point. I just reached out my hand and I was wondering if I was going, you know, could it be this easy? If I just reach out my hand to Bret, well, he just put them dollars in it and we good like that away. Sure enough, Bret laid that money in my hand. And I say, Bret, I don't know if Memaw wants a floating keychain, a sweatshirt, and some hot fries, so why don't you just give them back? And Bret said, them hot fries is gone. He done ate them. And then Rance says, well, I can give you a refund on the other stuff. And then, you know, once Bret gets paid, he'll pay Memaw back for them hot fries. And we thought we call it even. And boy, we squared away like that. And Bret's like, well, I already cut the sleeves off the sweatshirt. What in the world, Bret? And he just pointing to a sleeveless sweatshirt laying there on the ground. He said, once I get paid, y'all going to be sorry. Like, who does that? Who threatens somebody with a paycheck? I'm thinking, once you get paid, that's a good thing. Ain't nobody sorry. It's like, once I do 3 cartwheels and ramp my bike over the lake, y'all be sorry. No, we all be clapping. That's pretty impressive kind of thing. So that's all I could do. I figured that if I could get what money I could back to Memaw, then it'd be a win for today. So if we can return basically that keychain money, and then Bret's going to have to pay because Rance can't refund a sleeveless sweatshirt kind of thing. I got to believe Rance knows it's only a matter of time there before Bret's experiment here, or the experiment that is Bret, is going to blow up on him. But as far as I know, he's still hired. Here we are. Somewhere in town, Bret's wearing a sleeveless sweatshirt and dirty jeans with no money because he ain't started that job for Rance, really. The sweatshirt says Fish, Fun, and Friends, in case you was wondering. I didn't ask why he thought it'd be a good choice for the gift shop. I don't know why Rance put that one in there, but apparently it sells. I mean, Bret got one. So that's where we are. Memaw said she's going to think about putting a lock on her screen door, so I guess that's something. You know, that's an option, but so is hiding her money somewhere else. I mean, the cookie jar, that she ain't really changed that for years. When you're a little kid, you don't want to get caught with your hand in that cookie jar, but as you get older, you figure out more sophisticated ways to not get caught, like my brother Bret. Of course, he didn't get caught with his hand in the jar, but we did a little Hardy Boys and tracked him down, though. So I felt good about that. But I don't know what that means next, you know. I don't know what that means next, basically what it means, because you think, boy, I bet Bret's relationship with Memaw going to be fractured. Well, I mean, yeah, he'll just disappear for a few weeks and hope she forget, and then she don't quite forget, but things go back to as normal as they can be. So we'll see if Bret is still digging on the bank of the river and getting paid in a week. I'd be surprised, but stranger things have happened in this world. I'm just excited now that we got a lot coming in up in March with the shirt launch, with the town map, so you can see where Chancellor Park is, and you can see how far it is from Fishing Clips, and how my brother Bret had to get out there, and he thought he was so far away from the scene of the crime, from Chancellor Park all the way on the outside of town, and hey, it don't pay. I'm telling you right now, Bret, it don't pay. So we keep an eye out, though, for that town map. That's what I'm saying. The shirt launch on March the 1st. Be sure to, get on that and check the show notes today. Like I said, there's a lot going on. Bret ain't circled back by Memaw's trailer. She's liable to lock him up in an armbar, though, if he gets out there and then turn it into a full Nelson. His time's going to come. You know, not just because he got caught, but Memaw will have some things to say about him. And then him saying he was a pro wrestler, he's going to look even more foolish at that point when Memaw got him locked up. But be sure and leave me a comment on the Apple Podcast or the Spotify or wherever you listen. Let me know how you like it. You can also rate it on whatever platform you listen to on. I sure appreciate all of that. And thanks to Magic Mind, you can check them out in the show notes today, along with my text number and my email address and the bacon bag and the shirts and all that. And while I was recording the podcast today, I heard from my buddy Brad. Sent me a text. Brad Branham said he'd been enjoying the podcast too. So thank you, Brad. Folks is just sending me little updates like that, and it helps me know what y'all are thinking of it. So I sure appreciate all y'all tuning in and giving me feedback and sharing this and being part of Chancellor Park here where I live in my neck of the woods and staying up to date on what we got going on. So, hey, I know you got stuff to do. You better get after it. I better get after it too. And hey, if you ain't missing $60 and some ice oatmeal cookies from a Hummingbird cookie jar this week, or had the sleeves cut off your sweatshirt, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tabin Dillard. This is the Tabin Dillard Podcast. Till next time, y'all guys. We'll see you later.